guess would be the easiest faction for that. I would honestly, I think Zerg might be easier because Sunkens are really strong against tier 1 units. Hydra would beat Brain, but might need a BO5 in every game to 50 minutes. I disagree with that. I mean, there are games where he can win, but I don't think he'll ever win in a series. I'll do the Muta build? Okay, yeah. So, this is actually a perfect position to do a Muta build. Corner position, I always recommend doing Muta build, or against 2 Zergs. If you know that opponent has 2 Zergs, it's good to go Mutas. Alright, so I mean, it's always like standard opening. Corner is always 2 hatch and then pool. That's usually good. I gotta switch over low money map because all I play is fast. It's probably teaching me bad habits. But if you enjoy playing fastest, there are different drills you can do to improve your micro and improve your low money, improve your other stuff. So I mean, it's not like if you just want to play the game right, if you just want to get better playing at the game, or like if you want to compete at a high level, yes, transition to low money map. But I think there are other methods to stay on fastest and get better at it. Because if your micro is just like decent or okay, you can get away with it. But if your macro is like bad, then I don't know. What about the siege? What about the siege things? Terrible, for example, controlling Marines might make it difficult. Yeah, so those stuff you gotta practice. I think it's easier to practice that than to practice your macro, right? Like Muta, micro. There are use map settings for it. That's really good. So right now we know that these guys aren't really pushing me, so I'm not building any Sunkens. The longer you delay your Sunkens, the better it gets, because you could get 5 hatcheries like this really fast, like before 3 minutes, right? Right, and then around 15 or 16, you go ahead. 15 or 16, you go ahead and build 2 gas like that. Let's add 1 Sunken because we are up against 2 toss. Our toss here is being aggressive, so eventually, and he's going after probes. So if you do count, our zealots are attacking the probes, but his zealots are killing our zealots. So at the end of this pressure, he might actually win this. Nice. He's gonna have like more zealot with terrible eco, but so and then they're gonna push me or push him, so that's why he has to build cannons. Perfectly done. Like, he lost all his probes here. Even better, right? But now look at this. Because I only build 1 Sunken, my money is floating. That's why I could build this extra hatchery, right? First 100 gas always goes to layer. Wouldn't siege things be good against fending off the 5 difficult AIs on the fastest man? Yes, but you don't get tanks fast enough. You could make like 2 or 3 tanks, and then you'll be hit with like 6 zealots, 7, 8, 9 zealots with like lings. So the timing wise, yes, the unit wise makes sense, but you gotta think of the timing of when the unit comes out. But you can't wall, like I think he was talking about like how you can't wall. So right, layer finishes, you add 2 spires like this. Okay. You also want to go up to 4 gases in this case because you made this extra hatchery, but normally you could stay on. Actually, no, you would need about 4 hatchery at the end of the day. So, right. then all drone. Right, all drone. Okay, so this is the tip. When it hits 300 HP, you stop building things. So, watch. If I could click on a larva. Okay, that, like that. Okay, so now we stop. Why do I stop? When the Spire hits 300 HP, 100 HP is equivalent to 1 layer. So 401 larva spawned, right? Now when it hits 200, when it hits 500, second larva is going to spawn around that time. So let's see. Right? So almost 500, it spawned, right? So now when it hits 600, it's going to have 3 larvae on all the hatcheries. Right? That means MUTA and MUTA, right? Oh, okay. And then leftover minerals. Let's get more gas. On upgrades like this, leftover minerals, typically you either want to expand or you want to build sunkens, depending on your team. Depending on if your team has the map or not, that's what you got to do. 50 drone is the magic number. Usually 40, right? So 6.5 minutes. This is the time you have mutas. So let's go over here. So if he's being pressured like this, he would have about like a couple hydras down, right? This is when the mutas come in, and then you do a muta bomb like that. Right. Doesn't have anything. And then, right. So in this case, now while my mutas are attacking, you want to start building sunkens like that. In case of a counterattack. So just want to build sunkens like this. Up front, this guy's dead. Let's go over here. Right. Just build it anywhere you want. Here, you want to start building your Hive Tech 2 because you want to go Guardians. Right. Pretty much dead at that point. Now we go over here. There's a lot of goons, but that's okay. As you play this build, you're gonna notice that you're gonna probably die a lot in the beginning because you don't know the sunken timing yet. But usually after you do this kind of muta bomb, they're gonna counterattack you. That's why you need to build like 100 sunkens like this, because you have a lot of minerals anyways, and mutas are just like gas. You deprive of gas when you do muta build. That's why you want to build like this many sunkens out here like that. Okay, so this guy clearly doesn't want to get muta bombed, so we just back out. And then, so at this point, you're just spending all your gas on mutas, and you're spending all your minerals on leftover minerals on drones, and that's how you grow, essentially, like that. Right. He left, so we go. Right. +1 is done. And you're just continuously building things. If your ratio is like how mine is, 200 to 1,000, that means you have too many drones on gas and not enough on mineral. So the next drones have to go over here. Start your Spire and then start plus. I like +2 because you're gonna have like 4 groups of mutas anyways, so you don't really need the damage in the beginning. They just gotta stay alive, right? The longer they stay alive, the better it is, right? And then here we stayed on mutas, but you can always transition into lurkers and defilers and play that way, because what you can do is after you kill the main nexus, you can transition into hydras because your economy will be just so much better long run. So yeah. I see where I made a mistake. I get caught up in the attack and I don't progress back at the base because I'm stuck on the attack. Yeah, if that's the case, then you don't wanna just stick to this timing, because you gotta transition. You gotta play the long game, right? And then if you just do this, right? Even if they have a lot, we could still break this because +1 is hella strong. Get out of there. Now we do more muta build. And then at this point, you have all this gas, build more mutas. And then win onwards, pretty much. Timing for Guardians. Guardians, you can go anytime. As soon as if you started +1, so you could do 2 things, right? You can actually go into Hive right away instead of starting +1 and then get Greater Spire before you start +1, or you can start +1 and then Greater Spire. So when Greater Spire finishes, you just build Guardians. Guardians. Or even if it's like in the case of this where Muta Bomb is not possible, you just go straight into Guardians. So, and that. Right. At the end of the day, it's still the same thing, right? You still gotta get your tech structure up like this, just in case you want to transition. If your Muta Bomb is like not effective, then you have to transition into something else and then play differently, or incorporate like Guardians, Hydras, Lurkers, and stuff like that. You want to make sure that all your upgrades are up as well. Right. So this mutas also take a lot of gas. So if you really want to stick with Muta Guardian, you could expand and get more gas on this side, like here. So yeah. GG. Right. So this is a different way you can play Zerg. Yeah, pretty much. Right. So initially, like, you want to have more Sunkens over here. Hard counter for this build is probably, you saw when my Reavers came out. My Reavers came out at 6:30. My mutas came out at 6:30. Hard counter is if they do fast Reaver, they could send out one Reaver by 5:30, and then you'll be done. So once you see fast gas, like gate forge gas or double nexus for forge double gas, you have to go 2 hatch hydras. You can't do this build. If you do this build, then you'll die to Reavers.